Hey, it's Josephine from the Pointe Shop. I'm back in Orange County right now in our showroom in Southern California. And I'm going to be answering some of the questions that you have been asking. And if you ever want to get a pointe shoe fitting in Southern California, if you're in town for whatever reason, come visit the Pointe Shop. Make an appointment at thepointeshop.com. And if you want to check my tour dates, then you can go on the website as well. So today's question comes from Clara, and she asks, what could I do if my box is dead after a few weeks, but the shank is still hard? Now, that's a really good question, Clara, because that happens to almost every dancer that I know. So for those of you who don't know the anatomy of a pointe shoe, I will talk about that really quickly. So there are two basic parts of a pointe shoe. There is the box and there is the shank. So the box and the shank are made out of layers of glue and paper and burlap and other material to make it nice and hard to support you on pointe. So every dancer will break your pointe shoes in a different spot, which means that you will either break the box first or you're going to break the shank first. So it just depends on your feet. Clara, you're going to see that there's different types of pointe shoes as well, and that you will find that you break your pointe shoes in a different place in different brands. So for example, a Russian shoe, you might break the box a little bit faster, and an English shoe, you might break the shank a little bit faster. So that really depends on the brand too. But if you're really married to the brand that you're in right now, you can always target harden. So what that means is that you can use shellac or glue to make it a little bit harder where you need it to be harder. My favorite is jet glue. And I'm going to grab a little bit of jet glue right now so I can show you how it's done. This is jet glue. It's just another way to harden. And I really like this method because you can target exactly where you need your pointe shoes to be harder instead of getting a shoe that's just hard all the way around. So if you order a harder shoe, then it's going to be hard throughout the entire shoe instead of just the place that you need it to be hard. So I really like getting a shoe that is good for you and then just giving it a little bit more strength to whatever location you need it to be harder. So if you are breaking your box faster, before you start wearing your pointe shoes, I would take some jet glue and place it at the bottom. So if you look at the inside of the shoe, you can see the platform part, and you can glue a little bit there. You can just drip it all the way around, and you can drip it down the sides of the box where the wings are. So this is the wings and this is the platform. So you can reinforce the box by adding a little bit more jet glue, and it should strengthen it a little bit more. Now, I have to warn you, if you do too much, it's gonna get a little bit loud. So for pointe shoes, the more glue there is, it's gonna be a little bit louder on stage. So you wanna make sure that that doesn't happen. So you don't wanna go crazy with the jet glue. But I do suggest that you do it at the very beginning before you start wearing your shoes, or the jet glue will just get into those little cracks and then it'll make it break faster. So definitely do it at the beginning, and as you start to break your shoes down a little bit more, you can add a little bit more. If you are breaking it in the shank faster than the box, then you can just put it on the shank. So really determine where you break your shoes the fastest and then reinforce it with the glue. Now, if you want to try a different brand, then you really should get refitted because every brand fits a little bit differently. And you will notice that you will break shoes in different places for different brands, because every brand you're going to notice that there's different glue placement, different material, so it's going to work differently with every brand. So you want to try it out to see which brand lasts the longest for you, and that's not necessarily going to be the same for everyone. For each individual person, you're going to break shoes differently in different places, and it has a lot to do with how much you sweat, how your foot bends, how much you weigh, and how you're dancing in them. So great question, Clara. If you have issues with the box and if you have more questions, you can leave it on the comments. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and make sure that you don't miss any of our videos for all of the great pointe shoe tips.